Hi, this is Cora Stack here again. I just wanted to remind people that Miss Maury Kenny has interviewed me for a podcast that's called Politics and More, and it's all about the experiences of a presidential hopeful during the recent disastrous presidential nomination campaign for particularly which neutralised or extinguished the People's Route, which is a parallel route to nomination guaranteed by Article 12 of the Irish Constitution. And, it has been an extraordinarily difficult time for all those that put themselves forward. And I, stood up for them, and I have stood up for the ordinary citizen through my constitutional challenge, which is currently in the hands of the Supreme Court, and we're hoping they will listen to our concerns and act accordingly. But we don't have any say over what they decide to do. But we feel we have an excellent case, and we've done our research. I mean, we wouldn't, they find it very hard to get a researcher better than me. To be honest, they would. Not to be, who would have found that constitutional blind spot? Who would have written a paper as brilliant as the Constitution mentions? I'm even really impressed with myself that I was able to write that paper, or even find blind spots in EU employment law or family law. I mean, I'm wowed that I found all these things. But actually, once I spotted the Constitution blind spot, it was easier to spot it in other areas of law. So it's incredible how one kind of brainwave leads to another, leads to consequential brainwave. So, but that's the real point. Really, is how the ordinary citizen were treated with contempt, really, to the the blocking and the universal blocking that followed the initial direction by the Fine Gael leadership. And we're still trying to get to the. I'm still trying to figure out why this happened in the first place and who was behind it and who was behind the block. It did appear to come from the Fine Gael leadership, but it's not clear that really they were the people behind it. We don't know who the people were behind it, but the podcast will be very interesting. It's very interesting factually about the whole process of the nomination, and of course there's the nomination process, and there's the consequential electoral process, and then there's the main paper that it led to a pile of brainwaves going around in terms of looking at a second glance at the Projective Disclosures Act, and then the Amendment Act looking at the Judicial Appointments Act, and looking at the Constitution, and it was like doing a PhD in a few weeks and a few months, and it was incredible. The brainwaves that sort of hit me, and it's just the mathematics of it all there seems to be like a chess game or a checkers game. It's incredible, like mathematics of the sequencing and everything, and of course that sequencing then has led me to adjudication, and looking at the sequencing of adjudication and in the whole legal system, and the sequencing of that in terms of looking at how that should be done in dispute resolution, particularly in family law, or indeed in any area of law, if we were to bring more a kind of a problem centered approach to dispute resolution before adjudication, in that sequence rather than in the other way around. So I've learned so much from this challenge, this presidential challenge. I mean, it's an unbelievable challenge, and now the Supreme Court challenge, and those two challenges have led to me having an enormous amount of brainwaves, and I don't think I've had those brainwaves since I was a PhD student, or I don't know where. I suppose challenges do bring brainwaves, and it's brilliant that you're still getting even more brainwaves than you ever thought you'd get. So whatever emerges, I mean, the constitutional papers, the employment law papers, and the family law papers are written are gobsmacking. And I wouldn't even bother having anyone referee them, because I know they wouldn't be as good. They wouldn't be as good as what I have. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm not arrogant, but I know quality. I know quality when I find it, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed. That's a great song. I'm amazed, and in fairness, I got a lot of help from a lot of people. But I mean, the challenge itself, would have broken most people. What it did to me is it gave me absolutely brilliant papers, which I hope will help not just Irish democracy, but constitutional democracies worldwide.